New video inside Iran as peace negotiations reach a critical point. Iranians holding a rally in Tehran to honor those who have been killed in this war. And a military advisor to the new supreme leader reportedly told the Crown that Iran has a legal right to control the Strait of Hormuz and warned that any attacks on their trading route will spark a difficult and painful response. That public display of an emboldened Iran comes at the exact same time that the White House is hammering out details of a framework to actually end the war. But the president says U.S. negotiators are not in any rush in reaching that deal, and also that they must get it right. Joining us now, John Hanna, former National Security Advisor to Vice President Cheney, Senior Fellow at the Jewish Institute for National Security of America's Gemunder Center for Defense and Strategy. Sir, thank you very much for joining me this morning.
Good morning, Alex. Good Memorial Day to you.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at this latest Truth Social from President Trump, only into our newsroom moments ago. It includes a threat from the president where he writes, negotiations with the Islamic Republic of Iran are proceeding nicely. It will be a great deal for all or no deal at all. Back to the battlefront and shooting, but bigger and stronger than ever before. And nobody wants that, as you can see it right there on your screen. It really just goes to show how extreme the outcomes might be, either a deal or more military action. Is this just another negotiation tactic to try to force Iran's hand at this time?
Yeah, that would be my guess. I mean, this is the umpteenth time that we've heard the president issue these kinds of threats to return the war, and each time the Iranians have called this bluff. So I'm afraid we are in a position now of no more chances of capitulation or unconditional surrender or a regime change in Iran, but we're left with some bad options, and one of them is to try and negotiate this deal and get as much as we can from a regime that has been emboldened and has demonstrated a capability that we didn't think existed before the war to inflict real damage and real pain, not only on the global economy, but on America's allies in the Persian Gulf, as well as obviously American military bases in the Gulf.
I sense a bit of skepticism in your voice. Correct me if I'm wrong. It seems as if everyone from the White House is optimistic that things are moving forward. Is that not what your reading of the situation is?
Well, I think it may move forward. All I'm saying is that it's going to be a much more mixed result for the United States than I think the president anticipated when he started this war on February 28th, and the kinds of strategic objectives he would be able to achieve, whether with regard to the nuclear program, to the missiles, to Iranian proxies, and maybe even having the Iranian people rise up and change this regime to a more democratic, pro-American form of government. I don't think we're going to get satisfaction on several of those items, and that's just the nature of how the war has gone. It's been a tough war with a lot of unexpected results in terms of Iran's resilience and its ability, again, which we didn't think existed on February 28th, to so easily shut down 20% of the global economy and to inflict the kind of damage they did on Gulf allies who are at the center of global energy markets.
So, John, something that's caught my eye for 2 days in a row, President Trump has suggested that Iran might join the Abraham Accords. I don't know if this is something that he's actually hearing from his negotiating team or if this is just some sort of message that he's trying to put out. But that would essentially go against everything the regime stands for, right? They consistently chant death to Israel on top of death to America as well. What do you make of the president actually even suggesting something like that?
Well, listen. It's the president's character and nature to throw out offers and things like that have almost no chance, especially given how emboldened Iran feels in this war. How the new leaders in Iran are even more hardline than the other leaders. It seems like a complete pipe dream. It'll be hard enough. The president said he also wanted some of our friends in the Persian Gulf and Arab world to get into the Abraham Accords who aren't in it yet. Even that, in the wake of this war with this emboldened Iran, is going to be a heavy, heavy lift for the United States, much less getting the Iranian regime in.
Just interesting that he said it 2 days in a row. Maybe it's just bluster. Maybe it's something to sort of tease at the Iranian regime. Either way, it's something that he's saying, something that we're reporting. John Hanna, thank you very much for your time today.
Terrific, Alex. Thank you.
A historic day.